Good morning, bella gente! If you guys think that these are the ingredients that you need to cook a pasta alla matriciana, I'm sorry, you are wrong. The biggest characteristic of the Italian cooking is its simplicity, especially in great classic dishes like this one. In general, in Italian cooking, you don't always need to add onion, garlic, basil, or even olive oil to have a truly authentic Italian dish. In this case, all you need is good pasta, good guanciale, a good tomato, and good pecorino. Nothing more. Now we can begin. The principal ingredient of this dish is the guanciale, of course. You can recognize it because it has a fatty outer layer with all the meat on the inside of it. It might be confused with pancetta, which is the opposite and which also has less fat and has more meat. Slice your guanciale in order to make two pieces that are more or less ½ inch thick. For each slice, I'm taking off the external part with all the pepper and seasoning because that's the dirtiest part that everyone touches and I don't want to eat it. Now cut each slice in ½ inch long strips, big but not too small. Personally, I like them to be a bit on a bigger side so that you can really taste the consistency of the guanciale while you're eating it. That is one big pile of fat. When it comes to the tomatoes, I use a San Marzano Pelati Tomatoes in a can. Very professional, I know. Goddamn can. I'll use it naturally, as it is, without adding anything to it. If you want, you can mix them down into a sauce, but I prefer to use them whole. Now let's prepare the cheese. I'm gonna grate a little Roman Pecorino cheese, or Pecorino Romano. If you can, and there are some options to choose from, try to get a Pecorino that isn't too cured or too salty. Now we can put the water to boil in a big pot. Add the salt to the water. It should be salty and briny as the seawater. For the pasta, the right serving size for each person is 80 grams, or 90s if you have a little hair on your chest. I'm gonna cook for two, by the way. The original recipe calls for bucatini pasta, but seeing as how the type of pasta flies all over the place when you're eating it, I prefer to use spaghetti. Always read the cooking time for the pasta before cooking. If you want a true al dente pasta, stop cooking it 2 or 3 minutes before. When the water starts to boil, gently add the spaghetti. The water doesn't have to be boiling with all the fury of Neptune, don't worry. In a pan, we'll start to cook the guanciale over high heat. Don't add any olive oil, it's not necessary. The fat from the guanciale is more than enough. Even if you are not cooking with olive oil, you're still cooking a dish that's 100% Italian. The guanciale will start to sing more or less like this. After a few minutes the fat will shine and the meat will look golden, and we can then add the tomatoes. With a fork mash the tomatoes and let them get a bit more dense. I'm not taking out the guanciale because I want the sauce to get all the meaty flavor. If you want, and the recipe calls for it, you can add a pinch of peperoncino, Italian preferably. I'm not biased. 5 minutes on low flame is enough to have a nice dense sauce. Add some salt if you need. After we let the pasta cook for 10 minutes, I'm gonna take it and put directly into the pan. Now our aim is to become like Cupid. You have to bring the pasta and the sauce together at last. And our Cupid's arrow in this case is the pecorino cheese. It all dances together in a harmonious blend. At this point, keep adding the pecorino and whisk it all together with the burner off. If the pasta starts to get a little dry, just add some of the cooking water to the pan. Now the pasta is ready. If you want to look cool, plate your dish with just a modest amount of pasta and try to make it look nice. But if you really respect the true Italian tradition, just eat it directly out of the pan. Just for you guys and your sake, I'll make an attempt at plating it nicely. Add a touch of pecorino on top and voila!
Non più tra i farfalloni amoroso, notte e giorno di torno girano, delle belle turbando al riposo, Narcisetto a dolcino d'amor. Delle belle turbando al riposo, Narcisetto a dolcino d'amor.
I have to confess that this is the first time I ever made pasta alla matriciana without onion, because almost everyone thinks that the recipe calls for onion, even me before making this video. So, let's see how it came out.
Non più avrai questi bei panacchini, quel cappello leggero galante, quella chioma, quell'aria brillante, quel vermiglio d'onesco color, quel vermiglio d'onesco color. Non più avrai quei panacchini, quel cappello, quella chioma, quell'aria brillante.
It's really good. And it's incredible how just a few simple ingredients can make such an exceptional harmony of flavors. The success of this dish depends more than ever on the quality of the products that you use. So be sure to always buy good quality products and keep a simplistic cooking style, and the result will be extraordinary. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, be sure to like and subscribe, and see you next time. Ciao!
Non più tra i farfalloni amoroso, notte e giorno di torno girando, delle belle turbando al riposo, Narcisetto a dolcino d'amor.